Hi everybody, this is Pramita here, and in my last video I had shown I have added a vellum window envelope in the middle of the signature. So over the Instagram, and I did get some private messages just to show you how you can make this from a single sheet of paper. Now you can if you're printing this out on a cardstock paper, like the paper that you're going to use as your envelope base, and print on both sides, then you don't need to do what I'm doing. But I want this envelope to be very sturdy because it's going inside the journal itself, and this is going to be the center. So I wanted this to be pretty strong and sturdy and pretty thick. Okay, it's kind of it is going to get the texture, thickness of an actual good quality envelope sort of thing. And so I have used the process that I usually do. But if you're using a very thick cardstock, and if you print it on both sides, then you don't have to go through this. You can just simply fold it according to the requirement and make it into an envelope with a vellum window, and then you can stitch it inside the journal. I'll just show you what I mean by this. I am on the verge of completing this journal, and so that's that. So this is the inside. If you want, you can keep it like this, but I would obviously close this down, and this card is going to go in, and I have closed it for now with this paper clip, and I'm going to do the needful later. So I'm going to show you how I make these this is my process. You can do it any way you like. There are millions of ways to go about one thing, so you don't have to do it this way, but this is how I do it. So what I usually do is I choose a base paper. Base paper can be anything, because any junk mail paper, any book page, anything you want. So it's totally up to you, but I used a junk mail page for this. I'll just show you. So I used a page like this. Okay, so I don't need this page, but it is good. I can use it in other process or other ways, as you can see, and it is in the US letter size or A4 size, whatever you say. So it's totally okay with the size of the journal you're going to work into, unless and until you're working in a very big journal. In that case, you will have to add the flaps separately. Like, you will have to add another paper, so that when you fold this, okay, so when you're making a 5x7 journal, if you're creating a envelope very similar to this, you will have to add the flap separately so that it folds over. But since I'm not making a journal of this big size, I don't need to fold this in this manner, and neither do I need to add another piece of paper as a flap. I can create this entire thing from one single piece of paper as a base. So I'm going to use this paper as a base, but the thing is that I am making traveler's notebook size journal. So why I'm telling you this is because 4 inches is a good size. If you are making a journal which is around 4 inches, this will work well. If you're making it in a wider version, then it's still going to work well. So if you're planning on making mass making, if you're planning on creating a bunch of these, you can easily do this. It is going to work well. So for now, what we can do is we are going to calculate the folds or the creases that we would require. So in a traveler's notebook size journal like this one I will show you the process once. This is something I'm creating for myself. I need a planner and a journal for the month, next month, May. So I will be doing some work over here. I'll show you what I'm plan on doing. So it's going to fit into a journal which is around this size. Okay, so I'm going to keep a little bit of gap, so it's like 1/2 inch. So let me give you the measurements. It's going to be around 3.5. Yeah, perfect. So it's 3.5 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to fold this as a lid, you know, the lid, whatever you call it, the flap, but I'm going to keep a little gap in between. So I'm going to keep 1/2 inch gap, and I'm going to fold this. You don't need to measure anything. It can be more than 1/2 inch also, it doesn't matter, as long as you have enough room to put things in. That's it, nothing else. Okay, so this is how I have figured things out. Now I don't need the flap to be so big, so I'm going to trim this off. I'm just going to take a ruler, probably. Yeah. So I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to trim not too much off, because once I trim I cannot go back and rectify this, but I would like to keep it this way. Okay, so this is what I want, but this can be a little bit smaller also, so that your entire vellum window is visible. So I can trim it down to this size, so I can trim this part off. So I need to find my cutter. This is an ancient cutter which is not so good anymore, but I simply can't part with it. I don't know about you people, not only am I a hoarder at some point of time on about certain things, but I do attach myself to certain things, and then it is very difficult for me to part with that. And trust me, that cutter, guillotine cutter had served me so well. I bought it on a D-stash, and it was at a throwaway price just when I was starting out my journal making stuff. That was about, I think I bought it about 6 to 7 years ago, and it was used, but it was in a good condition, and it has served me so well. And it's only been a year and a half, I think, I bought another guillotine cutter, because I prefer guillotine cutter. I don't know about others. I find that it's quick and efficient, and it serves best for me. So this is what we have, and I'll show you what I mean by this. So this is the envelope. You can attach that at any place if you want. You can even hinge it on your page, but since I plan on putting this in the middle of the signature, I'm not going to go through all that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the ends a little bit. So this is more than 8 inches, 8.5 inches tall. This is kind of 8.5 inches tall. So this is kind of 8.5. I don't need this much. Okay, so again I'm going to trim this a little bit. That's totally up to you how much you want to trim, but it's just eyeballing basically. Okay, so I want this over here, and I think I'm going to make it a little bit shorter, okay, so that it fits in and doesn't stand out. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind, so that it fits in and doesn't stand out. So I can probably trim this portion a little bit. I hope I'm in frame. So how's everybody doing? It's super hot where I'm living, and it is straight more or less. Yeah, not very straight, but it'll do the job. So I have basically narrowed the envelope down a little bit, because then I will not have the issue of this side poking outside. I don't want that to happen. Okay, so it's going to fit in. That's the basic thing. So let's check this. So if I put this in, yes, it's going to fit in. See, so it's not going to poke out. So this is going to be our envelope in the middle. So I'm making this envelope just to show you that you don't need to have window envelope to make a thing like this. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just cover this up with some sort of neutral paper. Now it's totally up to you what kind of papers you want to use. I just have a bunch of papers that I have basically trimmed down, and why I go with neutral papers is because you know, it makes things so much easier. You can embellish them as you like. You can do whatever, you know, if you want to leave them as it is, you can do that also. So I'll just see if this fits in. So not sure. So okay, so this paper I had been planning on coming out with a collection with these vintage beauties, but I didn't I just didn't have the time to work on them basically. So but if people like this, then obviously I can. So I'm just using a single sheet of paper, and that's because I want this lady to be at the back. Okay, and then I'm going to just cover this portion up. Okay, so now on the inside, now my inside is blank. I can keep it as it is. I can stamp, I can stencil, but what I did was I covered it up. I covered it with another piece of digital paper. Now it's totally up to you how you want to tweak it. I did it this way. That doesn't mean you have to do it the same way. So I'll probably use some kind of neutral paper inside, and I'm going to glue this up, and I don't think gluing is a very attractive process that you would like to see, but still. So I would like to position this on the back of the envelope so that when, you know, the person opens this journal, they see this lady. So I'm going to place it like this. If you do not have any fascination of this sort, then you can use any paper for that matter, because I have used an ephemera kind of paper previously, so I didn't have to worry about this. But in this time around, I wanted something different, so I am covering this up. I mean, I'm going with this kind of measurement. You don't have to do this. You can do it with any paper you want. If it has an orientation, try to keep the orientation in mind. And the best thing is go with a paper which has an ephemera, collage, master body kind of look. Then in that case, you don't have to bother at all. You can just do what you like. So basically, I'm just trying to place this. Now I'm not going to put a lot of glue because I am going to stitch this at the end of the day. Okay, so I might come up with a series of papers of this sort, but I'm not sure. I just did a few papers and then I didn't. So typical of me. I have so many papers done like this, you know, and I felt it was not good enough. That's me. I always judge myself like that. And if after a while I feel uninspired, I don't go with it, because I would not do something which I feel that I've not done justice to. Okay, so I'm going to open this part up again because it needs a little bit of adjusting. Anyways, I can trim this off later on. So this is how the outside is going to look. So this is going to be our envelope. Looks nice, and I also love how the flowers line up. So now we have to cover this part. Don't glue the entire paper and then line these up. Do it in sections. That way it is better. And this part is a little bit wonky, so I'll have to trim that down. So I'm going to trim that down. So I'll just, okay, so because this paper is not very thick, the inside one, that is why I'm not using my bone folder, otherwise it might tear off, you know. So I just need to trim off the extra. I use my scissors because I don't have a big guillotine. I did buy one. It was kind of not a very good brand, and it didn't turn out too well, which was expected. Like, so how is everybody doing? I hope you are doing well. If you are new to my channel, then welcome, and if you have been here for a while, then welcome back. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then please think of subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. So this is how it's looking, and again, glue and me are not the best of friends. So I'll do it this way. So, and I'm going to cut out from this portion. Okay, so now is the time when I'm going to choose the inside paper. Now the inside paper need not be something you know, something very you can use any paper for that matter. I will probably be using some of my collage sheets. So I have these papers that I had already printed out. Just a second. So this is actually you know, some blankish kind of ephemera collage sheets that you get with the spring garden collage sheets. So I will be using one of those. I don't know, I have I might come up with more collage sheets like this, because they are very, very useful as background papers. I don't know. Like, time is a very big factor, but still it's doable. I can't say I don't have any time. I do have some time, so when I get the time, I'll definitely come around to that. And I'm so thankful to people. I am getting close to making 1,000 sales, and I know I have not been promoting my shop that well, because I don't know about others, but Facebook has not been very kind to me, especially some of the groups, but Instagram is my preferred place, and I do share a lot on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, please follow my account on Instagram. And if you want to join my Facebook group, I'll put a link to that in the description box. So I'll just put this. Now you can choose not to go through this process at all, because at the end of the day you will not be seeing much of this. Okay, but if you are someone like me and you want to feel that, okay, I have done this job pretty well and I want this, like, you will see part of this through the window, part of the inside, and then when you open this part flap, you will be seeing this. So it's the only thing that you won't see is this part, so it doesn't make sense. I just thought, why leave it behind? I can always cover it up. I should cover it up. So I'm just, as you can see, I'm just pressing it with my hand. I'm not putting too much of glue, and I will fold this. So you have to be a little bit careful around the edges, because the more paper layers you add, the bulky it becomes, and it's you know, it might bunch up at the edges. So you have to be careful about that, nothing else. So now I'm going to just trim this portion off. Yeah, I really like this paper, but I created only 2 pages of this, and then I think I deserted the idea and I moved on to some other project. But it can come sometime later on, you know, every time I think I should get back to it. Then I think, okay, let me finish what I'm planning now and I'll get back to it. So it just gets stalled. So probably it will come. Okay, so now we have the envelope done. Okay, so now I can give it a shape sort of thing that I can do later on. Now the first things first, I want a window over here. Now the size of the window is totally up to you, but you have to give enough room for the edges. I mean, it has to have substantial edges. You just can't make a very flimsy border around it. So the first thing I do is I just measure this out. Okay, and then I'm going to take a pencil. I can always rub the pencil marks out. So I'm going to take, so this is actually 3 inches basically. So we're going to have a very narrow window. That's okay. That's okay. I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch from here and 1/4 of an inch from here. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line and then just draw a straight line. That's it. Now, it totally depends how tall you want your windows to be. If you want, you can make it taller, you can make it shorter, whatever you want. So I'm going to make it this way. It's going to be a tall window. So I'm just eyeballing this. You don't, if you are not confident, then what you can do is you can make a template of the rectangle that you want to cut out on a thick paper or, you know, some kind of cardstock, and then you can place it and cut it down. So I hope you can see what I have done. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to punch a hole. Yeah. So I'm going to make a hole over here, just enough so that I can pass my scissors through. Okay, and then I'm going to cut around it. So as I was saying, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then please think of subscribing. It would mean a lot to me, and I do try and upload as much regularly as possible with my schedule, but sometimes, you know, things just go haywire and then nothing works. So I'm just, as you can see, I've chopped off this portion. Now I'm going to put my finger in and so in this way, actually, you can customize the size of the window you want. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, provided you just have a frame left. That's it. So you can see the window I'm making is totally not the window kind of window you see on window envelopes. It's going to be bigger. You can add acetate to this or some kind of packaging material that is transparent. I often do that also, but in this case I have used vellum because one thing for vellum is it kind of has that, you know, not so clear vision, which is again kind of scintillating effect, you can say. You don't see the entire thing, but you just kind of have an idea what lies there. Now this is what we have. Okay, so you can make it as big or small as you want. I have made this pretty big, and that's okay because this is going to go in like this. I'll stitch around this area. So but I should have made this a little bit more wide. I don't know if I can push this a little bit, just let me see, because when I'm stitching I would like this to be a little bit more sturdy. So yes, that is doable. Yes, absolutely. Okay, that's cool. So see, everything is doable, nothing is impossible, and I can even make it wider. I'll show you, because no, I don't want to make it any wider, because then it's going to overlap. So this is the window that I've created. Now what I'll do is, I have some scrap vellum, hope this works. Yeah, so now what I'll do is, I'll just use on the back of this. Okay, so before I put the vellum down, one thing you should do is, if you are an inker like me, then ink this up before you put the vellum down, because then it'll be easier for you to manipulate this dauber thingy. Okay, and even though it might look very flimsy, but since we have layered 3 papers, you know, that's why it's also sturdy. It might not look sturdy right away, but it is. And then you're going to stitch this, so it's going to get covered up anyhow. So this is your window done. Okay, so this is the thing. And another thing is that I'm going to mark this as the fold in case I mess up. Yeah, things happen all the time. So this is again, and here I can ink this part. So this is because when I'm going to be stitching, I might not be aware of the fact that there is a fold. I just want to make sure that I know where the folds are, so that is why I've done this. And now I'm going to attach the vellum. So when I'm attaching the vellum, turn the envelope inside out, and what I'll do is, I'll just put a little bit of, not too much, just enough so that the vellum sticks to the paper. This is a super easy process of creating vellum window pockets, and what I like about it is you can totally customize the size you want your pocket to be. That is very essential for me. I can make it smaller, bigger, wider, whatever. I can even make it as an oval if I have a template or something that I can draw. Okay, so this is how it's looking. So I have glued the vellum down on the inside part, and now I'm just going to trim the extra off, and this will get stitched. So I just need to wait for a few minutes for this to dry, and then we'll be good. So I'm just, because now if I run my sewing machine, it's going to gunk up the entire thing. So I'm going to let this dry a little bit, not much, little bit, and now you can see how it's looking. So if you want to put in some kind of ephemera, just let me show you. I will be making some projects, as I said, for myself, and also I'm going to film those, so hopefully you get to see what I mean. So here I have a journal card tag or whatever, so I can put this over here, and look how pretty it is. Now you can embellish this with lace, you can put a lace cluster, anything, Possibilities are endless, and you can put your own signature to it. So this is going to be the pocket, which is going to go inside the journal in the middle section, in the middle of the signature. So this is just a part of the collage sheet that I have already listed in my shop. This is actually the first set. So, and I'm just going to trim off the corners, and I'll show you how I do that. So what I usually do is I just take something circular and just draw around it. So I'm just going to, you can just eyeball it also if you are not comfortable, or if you don't have anything like this. I know everybody has, so that is why I've shown this. So this is done, and again I'm going to place the same thing over here. This is just a roll of paper tape. I usually add these tapes to reinforce book pages if they are old and sort of okay. So this is how our envelope looks. Now you can embellish this as you like, or you can just put some lace over here. As I said, the possibilities are endless, or you can just simply close it with a paper clip with a removable charm or something like that, and look how pretty it is. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to come back and show you how it looks after I have stitched it. I will not close it, because the closing part will come only when I have decided on placing it in the journal, after it has been stitched into the signature. So I'll be back to show you how it looks after stitching. So I have finished stitching this. I had black thread in my bobbin, and the top portion had a white thread, so it doesn't matter, it's going to go inside and you will only see this portion. So this is how the envelope is looking, and I'll keep it this way till I stitch this inside the signature or the journal itself, and then I can embellish this more. I can, as I said, I can add a little bit of lace here. I can just decorate this as I like, and but I can also leave it as it is. And when I'll glue this, I'll obviously glue these two sides, and as I said, I can put any journal card or tag that's going to fit in here, and then this page will look like this, and this will be like a closed page in the middle of the signature. Of course this is not fitting in, it has to, if I use this in my pocket, then I'll have to trim this a little bit, so that will be later on. I have not decided the journal card that's going to go in. I have just created this envelope. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful, and if you want, you can make it with some sort of neutral paper, and then you can embellish this, but I wanted to make it this time with this paper. And as I said, I designed this paper, but it's not available in my shop. I had created 2 sheets. I'll just show you the other one. It's somewhere here. I have a bunch of sheets over here. Some I had given as freebies, as a part of my Patreon benefit. Some I had just designed, but I didn't do anything. This is another one that I had designed. So I don't know if I will do this. I just created 2 sheets, and then I just didn't do it. So probably I will do it sometime later on. I'm not sure when, but yeah, it'll be there, like some collage sheet sort of thing. So I kind of like it, and it's definitely going to go inside one of the journals that I'll be working in very soon, and then you will see the end result. And this is how it is. So thank you everybody for watching this, and I hope you will be inspired to make some vellum envelope. You don't have to put a vellum window to it. You can put acetate also. You can use packaging if you have because I also do that. I just had these scraps of vellum that I had done some project, I don't know, I don't remember. So I thought of using them up. That's why I have added vellum. I have used packaging and acetate before, so you can do that also. And I'm going to keep it closed, and it's pretty simple, as you can see. It's very sturdy. You can even create covers using the same technique. So if you want, you can create 2 envelopes like this, okay, and then you can use them as your covers. You can put them either this way, or if you want, you can put the vellum pocket on the front also. So it can be done that way also. That's just an idea that popped into my head off the bat. That's it. So I will have to see if that looks nice, that is doable, but it is doable. If you want, you can do it. So thank you everybody for watching this. Bye, have a great day.